Oh yes, Skyview 21 flying high above the Harrisburg School District building on this historic day. Today it becomes the first ever district in the Commonwealth to exit a receivership. The school district announcing today will no longer be controlled by the state, no longer needing financial guidance like that. Thanks so much for joining us at 5:30 on this historic day. We are just outside the district building here where that historic information was announced just a couple hours ago. So let's go back a little bit. What does receivership even mean? We've been throwing that term around. Let's get into it. It's really a way for the state to oversee the financial situation after they've been warned for years that it's getting very bad. So this is what happened here. The Pennsylvania Department of Education placing the district in moderate financial recovery status. That was 2012. Then in 2019, the Department of Ed approving the district to go into receivership. So that means they have to appoint a receiver. That is someone who directly oversees the financial recovery plan, takes over all the duties of the chief recovery officer and the school board itself. So the school board loses a lot of power in this scenario. It's an achievement that education officials say could act as inspiration for other schools, that is getting out of this situation like this. So that's one of the things we're keeping an eye on moving forward. These other school districts that are in this situation right now, once again, nobody's ever escaped receivership until today with Harrisburg. A couple other places, one nearby, Steel High, they're in this scenario right now, entering receivership a little earlier this year. Also around the rest of the Commonwealth, you have a couple in Allegheny County, including Duquesne City, and then you also have Chester Upland School District in Delaware County, all in this financial recovery mode, financial status to be determined. So the decision is causing quite a stir here, but once again, they're hoping that maybe this is the way forward because they've been able to escape this situation. Jasmine, I know a lot of people are talking about this on social media as well.
Yeah, some in-depth answers, actually. So we wanted to hear how you felt about the future of the Harrisburg School District now that it is exiting its receivership. But a long one from Terry Gazette, who says, the Harrisburg School District has been an absolute mess since 1970. I lived uptown Harrisburg, and they wanted to bus me to John Harris because they were closing William Penn as a high school. My parents sent me to live there with my grandparents. Many other kids' families moved away to other school districts. And now look at the William Penn building. It's falling down. Millions of dollars to repair, just like the city of Harrisburg, in disrepair and in the dumpster. That's what happens when one-sided government with no oversight runs things without opposition for decades. So that was the longest answer that we got, but we got one from Tisha, she's hopeful. Tisha's hopeful. And then Ken simply says, doomed. But we want to thank you, obviously, for commenting. So you can see your comment here later on the news if you go to our Facebook page and do that. So thank you, guys. But first, the Harrisburg School District reaching a historic milestone, becoming the first ever school in Pennsylvania to exit receivership after years of state-appointed financial guidance. Hey, guys, it's Jasmine Brooks. I'm 6 o'clock now. Thanks for joining us. You know, the road to get here started more than a decade ago, and it's finally under control, and it's being turned back over to the school board. Tonight, we're bringing you team coverage on this story. TJ Anthony, Andrew Klein. But I want to begin with Joel D. Smith anchoring our team coverage from the capital city tonight. Joel D.
Quite the historic moment, like you said. Hard to get out of receivership once you end up, but the state deciding that today and making that announcement inside these walls. Interesting when you talk about this building and the history of it. I talk about other people making decisions for bigger moments, bigger things happening in the state. Look at this. The Board of Control, it's commemorated on this wall. What is the Board of Control? Well, we looked it up. Back in the day, the Harrisburg Board of Control was a municipal oversight body that managed city finances and authorized capital improvement spending during that time in the city's history in the early 1900s. How about that? Making buildings just like the one where this announcement was made today. But once again, getting out of receivership has been a trouble in the past. What happens? How do they move forward? Those are all the things we're looking at tonight in our team coverage. We will start with TJ Anthony, who was inside today when they made this announcement. TJ.
Harrisburg School District leaders and state officials are pretty confident about leaving this receivership after years of financial guidance. So now the board will have more power without help, while also marking a pretty monumental moment in the Commonwealth.
Harrisburg is the first ever district in Pennsylvania to emerge from receivership.
State and local officials putting pen to paper today, marking the exit of the Harrisburg City School District from receivership.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
June 17th at 11:59 p.m. opens up the Board of 9 to full voting powers and not relying on the current receiver, Dr. Lori Susky, to make many decisions. Since 2022, Susky served as a receiver for the school district overseeing the financial recovery plan. Susky cites the exit as good, but says not everything is perfect.
It does mean that the district has made sufficient progress and no longer meets the criteria to be considered a district in moderate financial recovery.
Susky says grant funding and payments in lieu of taxes are ways to boost revenue for the once money-challenged district. Rosalind Copeland, the district's current board president, as well as other board members, went through several trainings about finance, effective ways to govern, and building a culture of trust.
And curious to know, what's the biggest thing you learned from Dr. Susky to keep this from happening again?
I think the biggest thing I've learned is how to humble myself.
I'm going to talk about what actions do you want to take when the receiver is gone?
Well, the first thing is really just coming together as a team.
What once felt impossible has become a model for what is possible in this process.
And the Education Secretary, Rowe, who you just heard from, said that this achievement could act as an inspiration for other schools that are in financial recovery status, like the Steelton High-Spire School District. Reporting in Harrisburg, I'm TJ Anthony, CBS 21 News. Back to you.
Good stuff, TJ. Thanks a lot. So once again, this is a process. This has gone on more than 10 years. Let's go back in time and sort of show you how we got here, because once again, other school districts need to look at all of the pieces and the success that eventually happened, but it took time. 2012, PA's Department of Education put the district on its moderate financial recovery list, kind of a warning shot saying, you know, we're looking at you guys. And then 7 years later, the department determined the district failed to accomplish its key objectives to get its finances in check. As a result, the district then entered into the receivership in June of 2019. So a few months before that, actually in January, is when that current Auditor General at the time, Eugene DePasquale, started an audit on the district, one that wouldn't be finished until 2 years later when his successor, Timothy DeFore, took over. Let's go to 2022. That's when the district appointed receiver stepped down, leading to Dr. Lori Susky to step in. In that summer, the district actually extended the receivership another 3 years. It was disappointing to some, but seemed like it was necessary to others, and so that's why it happened. A few updates were made about the district's progress, more support, training for the support staff, the school staff, hiring new staff members as well, all working on trying to change the district's culture. Now, 3 years after that, the district will exit receivership June 17th. But to keep this progress going forward, they're going to have to keep improving things, not just when it comes to finances, but how about test scores? Andrew Klein has that part of the story, digging into some test scores and seeing where the trends are right now and where they hope to get. Andrew.
Well, that's right, Joel D. I took a look at the test scores from the school district over the last 5 years. So it's a 5-year period from 2019 to 2024. That does not include 2020. Here is what I found throughout the day today. Now, this information was taken from 11th graders in the Harrisburg City School District, and I found that 11th graders are struggling badly with math. They're doing a little bit better with reading. So here are a few of the numbers. 61% were below basic proficiency in algebra in 2024. Things were a little bit better with reading, only 38% below basic proficiency last year. Now, those numbers in both categories seem to be improving from 2019 up to 2023, and then they dropped off the next school year. So I personally am interested in seeing how the school board will try and change these numbers as they take over in the near future. In Harrisburg, Andrew Klein, CBS 21 News.
Thanks a lot, Andrew. All seems to be a part of a process, right? Whether it's receivership or what was called the Board of Control back in 1904. There's levels of bureaucracy sometimes when it comes to oversight. It's how you move forward from those moments that really is how you write your history. We'll see what happens here in Harrisburg. If you want to know more about this and see that entire news conference where they explained how they got to this point, we have that for you on CBS21.com. For now, in Harrisburg, I'm Joel D. Smith. Back to you.